Our communities are under attack. We have been hearing a lot of hate and division. But if we come together and make our voices heard, we can protect our community. One way to do this is to vote, if you can, to uplift the voices of our community. There's the old saying, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. So for those of us that can vote, we must show up at the table and cast our ballot together as one community. But remember, you're not alone. We're here to walk you through from registration to the ballot box.
First, let's start off with some important dates to remember for the election. Step 1. Registering to vote. Grab your phone or your computer and head over to servicearizona.com. We will go over the process, but be sure to read all of the instructions. You will need an Arizona driver's license or ID. If you don't have one, you can still register to vote. You will just need to fill out a physical form. You can print one out from the link below. From the homepage of Service Arizona, click on the blue box that says Voter Registration and click Continue. Scroll down and click the button that says Begin Voter Registration. You'll then be prompted to answer a few questions. The first one is if you're a resident here in Arizona, meaning if you've been living here most of this year. If yes, click the box. The next question is if you've been convicted of a felony. Unfortunately, Arizona doesn't allow people with multiple felony convictions to vote until their rights are restored. But if you have had only one felony conviction in the past, you are off parole and have paid all of your court fines, you can vote, so click the box. The next question is if you have not been determined incapacitated with your voting rights revoked by a court. You should know if this applied to you, so unless you have something from a court, check the box. Next question is if you are a citizen of the United States. If you were born in the United States or a naturalized citizen, click yes. The last question is asking if you're at least 18 years old. Click yes if you are. If you don't meet all of these requirements, unfortunately, you are unable to vote, but you should make sure to talk to your family, friends, and coworkers who do meet the requirements and make sure they register to vote. You can then click Continue. For this next part, you'll need to grab your Arizona ID or driver's license. You'll need to fill out all of the boxes exactly as it appears on your ID. Be sure to leave out hyphens unless one appears on your ID. If it is your first time registering to vote in Arizona, you will be asked to input the address of where you currently spend your nights after this page. After you enter your address, it will also take you to some of the steps we outline. If you are already registered to vote, you will see a prompt to update or confirm your address on file. If you're registered for Pebble, which we recommend you sign up for, be sure it shows your most current address so you can receive the ballot. If you need to update your address, click No, Change My Address. You can either update your address or you can add a mailing address of where they send you the ballot. If you're registered to vote and your address is correct but need to sign up for Pebble, click on the box that says, Yes, my address is correct. It will then take you to a page where you have to choose a party preference. If you updated your address or registered for the first time, it will also take you to this page. This section indicates which party primary you can vote in, but in the general, you can vote for whoever you want. This is something you can change at any time. The rest of the fields are optional. You can then click Continue. It will send you to this section asking you how you would like to vote. Newly registered people will also be taken here. We highly recommend people click Yes, I want to vote by mail permanently. This will sign you up for Pebble, where you will automatically be sent a ballot in the mail for every future election you are eligible to vote in. This is not a requirement, but we highly recommend Pebble because it gives you the convenience to return the ballot by mail or in person. If you choose not to, you can click No, I want to go to the polls to vote. It will then ask you if you want to receive your publicity pamphlet via email. It's a pamphlet which is mailed to the voters to inform them as to the nature of a measure submitted by an initiative or referendum. Once you have completed all of the steps, it will take you to this page to check your information. Most of this information was optional, but if you signed up for Pebble, make sure it says yes. Be sure to read these instructions before you register to vote. When you're registered to vote, it will take you to your voter registration receipt, where you can either print your confirmation or email a copy to yourself. Congrats! You're now registered to vote! Step 2. Voting. In Arizona, you can vote in person or by mail if you've previously signed up for the Permanent Early Voting List, PEVL, or if you've requested a mail ballot for the upcoming election. The last day to sign up for PEVL or request a mail ballot is October 23, 2020. If you haven't requested a mail ballot yet, we recommend you do that right now. Ballots are mailed starting October 7, 2020, so start to be on the lookout for your ballot then. Once you receive your ballot, use a black or blue pen to completely fill in the oval next to the candidate you want to vote for each office on the ballot. Make sure you take your time here to fill in the bubbles correctly to ensure your ballot is counted. Once you have filled out your ballot, look at the bottom for a line requiring your signature. It is very important to sign your ballot. You will then place your ballot in the envelope that came with your ballot and sign the envelope on the required line on the outside of the envelope. This step is also very important to ensure your ballot is counted. Once you filled out your ballot and signed the envelope, you have two options for turning in your ballot. Option 1, mail. You can place your ballot inside the signed, prepaid envelope in your mailbox. When doing this option, there are 3 important things to keep in mind. 1, you must mail your ballot several days in advance because your ballot has to be received by the recorder's office by election day. It is recommended you mail back your ballot no later than October 27th to make sure it gets there on time. But the earlier you mail the ballot, the better to ensure your ballot is counted. 2. If there are multiple voters at your address, make sure that you keep your ballots and envelopes separate. Each is barcoded and intended for each specific voter in the house, and you will want to make sure you don't mix them up. 3. You can and should go to My Arizona Vote to confirm that your ballot was received and counted. Option 2. Drop off your ballot in person. You may drop off your ballot at any ballot drop box, drop-off location, early voting location, or election day voting location in your county on or before election day. You can find all voting and drop-off locations on your county's website. For Yavapai County, drop boxes are located at If you're able, we recommend this option to ensure your ballot gets to where it needs to go on time, especially if it is around or after October 27th. You can also vote in person starting on October 7th, 2020 until October 30th, 2020. When voting in person, you must bring a form of identification. You will only need one of these forms unless the address on these forms of identification is different from where you are registered to vote. A valid Arizona driver's license, a valid Arizona non-operating identification card, a tribal enrollment card or other form of tribal identification, a valid United States federal, state, or local government issued identification. If you do not have one of those forms of identification or the address is different, then you will need to bring 2 of these with you. If you're voting before Election Day, you must go to an early polling location. You can find the one nearest you at If you're voting on Election Day, you must go and vote at your polling location. You can find your polling location at